Hello, hello. This was our new intro. And you're listening to Product and Cake, a podcast that we talk about product and also cake sometimes. And today in the studio is my co-host, Paul. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Goncha?
I'm good. A little bit overwhelmed with all the things that I'm doing and need to do.
I know that feeling very, very well when a lot of different things appearing on your notification center in all the devices.
Yeah, exactly. And also I have a day off tomorrow and today half day off. So I'm also a little bit stressed that I need to finish work more today, like in this half a day, than I could do in the next 2 days. So everything is compact and I have a lot to do and I get easily distracted, jump from this tab to another just to finish things, which is not very productive.
I know that feeling. And whenever you open the one app to finish something, you discover multiple things that are waiting inside of this app. I mean talking about browser tabs.
Yeah. And also every time I go back to Slack to ask someone a question that helps me with the topic that I'm working on right now, I realize that I have so many new messages from other people. And then I go into the rabbit hole of answering those and more tabs open up. And it's like my brain is full of tabs that are not closed.
Yeah, I know. And then your co-host of the Successful Product and Cake podcast is writing you on WhatsApp and didn't receive any answer.
I'm sorry.
So, Goncha, what could us help to steer through that chaos of information that is appearing every day, everywhere, all the time?
Yeah, so also to make it a little bit more clear for the listeners, we are going to talk a little bit about focus today and how are we trying to achieve it? Are we able? Is it needed or no? Product managers are a juggler and they need to they need to be able to have multiple tabs open at the same time. So, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I like the point. Is it maybe part of your job description, right? This is what all engineers are always complaining about, having these topic switches or switching cost.
Yeah.
But as a product manager, you are most of the time really asked to jump around topics very, very quick to help other people to focus more.
Yeah, that's true. So I have a very strange hack for myself. And I figured it out not so long ago. And you will realize why is it not so long ago that I realized it soon. And it is helping me to be in the kind of for a short period of time, like 10 minutes at a time, to focus on a specific topic. Either it is done, I put it in the done column, or no, it needs more attention. So I will decide that, okay, it needs probably 2 more of these 10 minutes to focus on this and continuously focus. Or I'm so deep into it already that I don't realize that it has been a little bit longer that I have focused on it. Or no, I realize that this can wait and I push it in the other bucket that it can be in the next 10 minutes bucket. And so here is the drum roll to share what my hack is. And I'm so sorry for the people who do not like this, but it's a Taylor Swift song and it's 10 minutes long.
Okay.
It's all too well. It's 10 minutes long. I don't listen to it, but it has been so many times on repeat that it's just a background noise. It's just like a white noise for me. I'm sorry to all the Swifties who are listening. And it because it is also so long, it helps me focus for that duration of time. And it is just 10 minutes, so it is much easier to say, oh, it's just one song. I will listen to this song, focus on this topic. I will not check Slack for this duration. Yeah, that's my recent hack since All Too Well came.
Yeah, that's a nice hack, and I think it's fantastic to pair it with a song. Reminds me very much on the Pomodoro technique.
Yeah.
That says, okay, you should decide for a task and then take 25 minutes, put a stopwatch and finish when the stopwatch rings, and then decide if you need to have another 25 minutes or not, and then in between have 5 minutes break.
Yeah.
That is something for me working very well to, if everything is super, super stressful and it seems to appear everything on the same time, sometimes I take the courage and switch off everything and just have a walk around the block for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that also really refreshes me to steer through the chaos again.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also am I'm a fan of the Pomodoro technique, and I think it is very, very helpful. Sometimes the 25 minutes can be long for my brain because my brain is like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's do that. Let's go there.
Yeah.
And I like, no, come back, come focus here. And also sometimes putting a stopwatch somewhere that I know I can see how much time is left is stressful for me as well. But yeah, so this technique of the song at least helped me, and it is working. I think at the end of this year I will be. Last year actually, Taylor Swift, this All Too Well song was my most listened song. I was like on the 0.05% of Taylor Swift listeners, and I think this year it will be the same. And yeah, it is weird that it is just this one song. So if there is another song that is 10 minutes long and has a very basic rhythm and just it's not too distracting, please recommend it to me. I'm happy to change.
I recently switched to the Spark premium plan. Spark is an email app, and it introduces a new feature called home screen, and the home screen hides basically your email messages and says, okay, your next scheduled time to check your inbox is at this and that time. You can configure it. But by default, it's 2 times a day or something. And that really helps because from time to time I see the mail icon and it triggers already a mechanism in my head, and I switch over to the mail app. Then I see, there are a lot of mails. I should follow inbox 0 to be more focused. Then I start to work on it. You find something, you switch over to the browser, you continue there.
Yeah.
And just having this interruption of saying, hey, you should focus on your inbox a bit later, helps me to get my focus back to the most promising or to the most important tasks. So talking about technical tools to improve focus. Do you use the focus mode on your Mac?
Not really, but I use, so I sometimes close Slack and put some notes on Slack that I need focus, do not reach out, or responses may be delayed. So at least I know that I won't get any notifications there, and I close all the possible channels for me to be notified in durations that I need to be focused. But I don't use any other specific tool for this. One thing that I also use that helps, it's not necessarily a tool, but it's another technique for me, is body doubling. So either I use someone who is in the physical space as I am. So especially when we are working from home, it is very hard to just be in your room and not be distracted by everything else. And for me, when someone else is there and also they are working or doing something that are not distracting, it really helps me to focus. It is like someone else is also watching you to do your work, and it's helpful. And please take all of these things with a pinch of salt. It is some of the, I can say, ADHD techniques or coping with ADHD techniques, but you need to also figure out what works best for you. And also, if there is no one who can be in my physical space, or I cannot go to a coffee shop to work or a co-working space or the office to work, or I do not want to, I call one of my colleagues and I say, hey, can we have some focus time together? Nice. We just put each other on mute and they are just there. And it's just a Google Meet tab open there. And if I want to say, hey, by the way, and then I can turn it off again and we can work.
Nice.
That's really helpful.
Great. Yeah. Interesting. I read about it, but I never tried it. But having a meeting basically to accomplish something is could be very helpful. I think what you said is very, very important, that you need to find a way on how to manage the attention of the apps, right? Every app is trying to grab your attention, and every product manager working in their teams pushes the engineering team to finally implement push notifications, because this will be the relief to every user engagement problems. And at least Apple gives you fantastic possibilities to control that again. So you can, I set up nearly every app. I disallowed nearly every app to give me push notifications or to show the small counter in the app icon.
Yeah.
I disabled it for everything because it makes me crazy if there is a number appearing and something is changing. And I even put it further when I worked on a bigger side project. I created a new account in my Mac, a new user account, and I installed nothing in it beside the browser and the one Google account connected to that project. So there was technically no possibility to be distracted because it was more or less an empty user account with just one browser window. And that helped me very, very much to focus. And also what you said, to turn off Slack, or even put it further and turn on airplane mode in your phone and in your computer if possible. And then took the 25 minutes, 10 minutes Taylor Swift song, or even longer time if you can make it, to just focus on one thing. But in the end, there are plenty of possibilities and you need to find the way on what is working for you best.
There are also some other techniques that I use from time to time, and one of them is I set up myself for a challenge. So I say, hey, if you finish this task, is impossible to get it done in 30 minutes. If you finish it in 30 minutes, and then you will get this prize.
Yeah, nice.
You'll get, I don't know, whatever, like
chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. Or you get to bake a cake or something similar to that. And this trying to beating the clock is usually more fun than, I need to finish this task. It's like, okay, now this is a challenge. It just makes my heartbeat go fast. And another thing that I also do is I sometimes, when it's more important tasks, I write down why this task is meaningful to me, like why I should do it, why I should spend time on it, and why should it bring me joy. And it's like, sometimes that helps as well. Another thing is in the mornings when I want to start my work, I try to write myself a quick sticky note that it was a good day's work if And I usually just write one or two things, that it was a good day's work if I finish this and do that. Or if I have a good meeting with this person and have next steps defined. And if I create that document, like anything that is the 2 top priority. I don't also go to 3. I don't think that the magic number of 3 should apply here. It's just the 2 most important things. Usually it is also just one important thing. And I stick that in front of my my workspace, and I just have that in mind every time that I'm doing something. That so that was the goal. Like, it was a good day's work. You want to close your laptop and say, "Oof, it was good day of work." So let's finish that one first.
What I get from it is to setting your mind in a positive mood, right? To draft out what needs to be accomplished and why. And then working with a prize in the end, that can trigger really a lot in your brain. And I worked for a while with a technique that I forgot the name, but it was basically about writing down all tasks you have in a notebook with maximum 20 lines. And when this page is finished, you are not allowed to add any more tasks to it. And in the morning, you read through that list and you pick the task you really want to do right now. That gives you the most joy. And you do it and then you cross it and then you can switch over to the next one. And when the page is finished, you mark the things that are not done and switch over to the next page. And if needed, you write them down again. And interestingly, if you just follow your joy, then after doing one or two very joyful tasks, somehow the brain is telling you, okay, if you now resolve this very stressful and unlikely task you don't want to do, then you do it. Yeah. Because you did already some joyful things and you said, okay, there will be much more joy if I finish this
harder one.
This harder one, yeah, thanks. So that helped a lot for me. Unfortunately, it was not synchronizing with all the devices, so I stopped it. But it was a good start for me to dive into the long lists of tasks.
Nice.
So,
but also we need to outline the fact that also as product managers, it is not often that you can have this tunnel vision or focus time, because there are a lot of other people, departments that are dependent on you, will need something. So it is not something that you should set for everyday work for all 8 hours, but it is for when you need to tackle a topic, when you need to define something with more details and so on, that you will need that focus time. And you will need to use that focus time without distraction. So it is not an everyday 5 days a week and 8 hours per day kind of thing. It is, I would say, either each week there are 2-3 days that you can have a focus time like that. And usually it doesn't go above 2 hours.
Definitely. You need to adjust that one to your day-to-day work and to the requirements. And I think it's no sign of bad management if you go to your team and ask, right? If you are unsure, then go and say, hey, how can I support you most right now? And maybe it's not that you're focusing on something and instead it's on having even more meetings or clarify things, help someone, tell them it's fine what they are doing. So being intentional and ask about how you can support the team is it's good.
Yep. Are we ready after this episode to go for a little bit of focus time?
I don't think so, because we want to record the next episode.
After that?
After that, maybe.
Alrighty. So, I hope this some of these suggestions would be helpful for someone.
It was the icing on the focus topic, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
on a good cake.
Yes.
That sits on top, and now you have to go and pick the one that is working, that are working for you. And the most important thing you should take with you is do something, right? Just don't be overwhelmed with all the stuff. Do something to manage it actively, and recommend the podcast episode to someone who's struggling at the moment.
We can share a 10-minute white noise episode that is just you and I humming. Maybe
or
that
typing.
Yeah, maybe that works.
Yeah, let's try it.
All right, 10-minute product and cake version will come soon.
Have a nice one.
Ciao. All right, so thank you for listening up to this point. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And if you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear it, right?
Yes, totally. Feedback and questions and also opposite opinions are always welcome.
And also, if you have any recommendation for us, what topic to talk about, if you have any person in mind that you think we should interview for any specific topic you have in mind, we would love to hear that. So you can send it to us via email.
Yeah, sure. Or via social media networks, you will find us, I guess.
Yes, there will be some info of how to contact us in the description.
Yeah,
Look for it.
Or send it via snail mail to mobile.de office and write CO Product and Cake Podcast. So a lot of people will know about the podcast then.
That's a good point. Let's do it. Thank you. And bye again.